bats. What? Okay then. I would not have expected just bats. Okay. Those things look so ridiculous. They got a baby. I don't know. I guess bats invade the town. What? I guess this universe has bats. Whatever. Ugh. I don't know. The season started out. It's like, okay, it looks like they're gonna be going somewhere, and then they're just like, nah, screw it. Go back to the same shit as before. And like, okay, so so last night I watched the first few episodes of what is it called? The Amazing World of Gumball. Like, that show makes Adventure Time look like staring at a wall of drying paint. Like, it's that level of just complete insanity. And it really made me think, like, god damn, this show is boring. Like My Little Pony. This is so boring. Like, the Gumball episodes, they're 10 minutes, and they're extremely fast-paced. It's an extremely simple concept. Like, the first episode is literally just Gumball and his brother need to return this DVD that's overdue. That's it. That's the entire concept. But there's just constant insanity, and so many surreal, just, like, what even... Like, there's no way to be bored watching that. It's just constant, just like, what even is happening? And then it felt like such a cool fever dream of, like, a child. It made me feel like I was, like, a little kid again, just sitting in my playroom, just screwing around with toys. It was great. And then with this, it's just, like, so dragged on and boring. Oh my gosh. So it's like, like seeing an actual well-made kids show, and then seeing this show. Oh, jeez. I don't know. Maybe this episode will just be amazing. Maybe that'll happen. Okay, we're in the forest of apples. Wait, it's apple bucking day? I thought they did that like... Oh, whatever. I thought they did that like every episode. Whatever. Guess she's cursed. The bats. Okay, at least that cold open was to the point. Oh, I just noticed Discord's in the background of one of those intro shots. I assume he wasn't until this version of the intro. Bats are attacking them. Okay then. Wow, a big apple. Okay. I'm so bored already. This is so slow. I don't have anything to say. Just, oh no, the bats are destroying the apples. It's like, ugh. And then like, okay. I'm just gonna want to ramble about Gumball now, but like in one of the episodes, there was this ridiculous, over-the-top, just batshit crazy song that was so out there, just so insane. I just was like holding my head in shock, just like, what even is this? But this song is so whatever. It's so stupid. It's just spelling out exposition. This is such a lazy and boring way. This is such a shitty way of explaining this concept. Fuck. Just the most boring way of showing this stuff. Because the instrumentals are slightly more interesting in this one. I don't know why, but this is actually making me think of, what's it called, The Trial from The Wall. I don't know why. It's actually kind of reminding me of that. I mean, it's nowhere near that same level of storytelling and interesting things, but like, I don't know. I guess that song is like I guess the people like just like that song because it's like that's the second time they made a joke about it. Okay, they're referencing the cider again. I am so bored. This is so boring. It's just almost entirely the characters talking. Like they've just been talking for like 8 minutes. There was like the song, but even then there wasn't that much interesting thing. There wasn't really that any interesting stuff going on. It's literally just them talking. I guess there's a more interesting shot. I have nothing to say. I guess this is her power. I mean, they kind of did it words. They introduced this a while ago. Okay, so they saved the apples, but now the bats they're not gonna be harvesting the apple seeds anymore. And then all the trees are just gonna be gone. No, they're still screwed up. Oh, it wasn't the bats, it was something else. Okay then. This could have just been done so much faster and so much more interestingly. It's so slow and it's almost entirely the characters talking and nothing else. Wait, what? Did Fluttershy eat the apples? I guess this is like supposed to be scary. Like, okay, this is like kind of going crazy. Yeah, okay, so that's something at least. So she got bit by a vampire bat, I guess. And so Fluttershy's the one destroying the apples. God, that one little thing of the characters doing something. Oh, this is just a scarecrow. She's a bat. Oh no, she's a bat. The episode did something. It took over 15 minutes, but the episode did something. Okay, there's a kind of interesting underground shot with the bones and shit in the ground. I'm really reaching to find something. What the hell? Okay, there's some mildly interesting thing. Okay. I feel like this is meant to be exciting, but it's just not. It's just like so it's so, like, whatever. And again, can't Twilight just use her magic to freeze her in place? Oh, alright, I guess she can't do the reverse spell. She can't do the reverse spell while she's doing the other spell. Whatever. I guess this episode didn't go exactly where I thought, so it's somewhat unpredictable. I thought this was just gonna be a, environment, respect the environment episode, but no, it's just this more, it's some more interesting idea with Fluttershy becoming a bat. Of course, except it took, like, such a ridiculous amount of time to actually get to this point. This conversation isn't funny and is going on for so long. They're spelling out the plot. Like, this is such a it's such a pointless scene. That sounded like Jimmy Neutron. Wait, what? She still had the fangs? It's probably not foreshadowing something in the future. Yeah, just a really typical boring episode again. So the plot is Applejack's about to harvest these apples, and then they're all like rotten or whatever. There's these bats that are like sucking the juices out of the apples, so then they got this plan to, Fluttershy's gonna stare at these bats, and then Twilight's gonna use some spell to make them not want to be bats, and they'll stop eating the apples. But when she did that, Fluttershy got hit by some part of the spell and became a vampire bat, and then she was destroying the apples, and then they have to get her just, returned back to back to normal. And there's, I guess, a couple lessons, like, respect the environment, don't do dangerous things to bats, or animals in general. There was, don't let your friends pressure you to do stuff. So there's that. But, like, goddamn, especially, like, after watching a Gumball episode, and then watching this, and just seeing the extreme difference in pace. Like, the first, I think, 10-12 minutes of this episode it's literally just the characters talking and walking around the apple acres. That's it. It's literally just them talking. It's a glorified podcast at that point. Really. There's nothing interesting happening. It's just them talking. They're not doing anything interesting with the animation. The sad attempts at jokes are not funny. Most of them linger for so long that they're just infuriating. Like most of the time with something like any other show, Adventure Time, Gumball, Gravity Falls, Star, anything. When there's a joke that isn't funny, it usually doesn't linger around for very long, and so it's not that bad, even though it's an unfunny joke. But like, it doesn't stick around. With this show, all the jokes just linger there for so long, and it's so boring. It's just nothing. Then like finally, like 15 minutes in, there's like a somewhat interesting scene of Fluttershy becoming a bat and then running around and stuff, and it's like, okay, there's some level of creativity there. Fluttershy as a bat looks kind of interesting, but it takes so long to get there, and it's not like there's a big payoff that's worth it. It's literally just 15 minutes of shit to 5 minutes of something or like 2 minutes of something that's like okay. It's just not interesting. And then like Gumball is such a just insane demonstration of what you can do with animation. That show is this ridiculous like combination of like traditional 2D animation, but then these like real life pictures as backgrounds, and then these like 3D models, and then oh my gosh, it's crazy. And then this show is just like, look, we drew some horses of different colors and they're talking to each other. Isn't that fun? Like, come on, give this episode, I didn't get mad, I was just really bored, but yeah, I give this 3 out of 10. It's just such a bad episode of a bad show. Oh my gosh.